Hey everybody, my name's Brian.
Hi, Blake. How are you?
And today we're going to
Nice to
agree
meet
to
you.
disagree.
I had one job and I already messed it up. All right.
Oh,
Oh,
here, let's do it from the
here
beginning.
too soon. All right. I messed
Yeah,
that up.
that's pretty great. Gotta love it. Okay, what's up? Welcome. Howdy.
Good morning.
Yes,
Great
Blake.
to be here. Another fabulous episode of Agree to Disagree with B&B.
There you
I'm
go.
Blake. That's Brian.
Yeah,
Coming to you live.
thanks for taking over that intro duty. I was just kind of chuckling about the absurdity of all of it. That was such a smooth, a seamless introduction. It was exactly as I imagined
Yep.
it. So anyway, we're going to cover some of the more interesting stories in the news today, and we're going to kind of frame it in a way where we're asking if you agree or disagree with the sentiment, with the statement that we're making. The comments is where it's at, so please leave all your comments. What's up, Jane Meyer, and everybody else in
Hello.
the Restream community out there? Where are we at? We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and then another YouTube, and then another YouTube, and we'll see about the other Facebook at some point. But yeah, we're going to talk about the stories that matter. Blake, where is the stuff that I typed? Those sentences you said they're in here. They're under captions, or where are they?
They're in the
Can you
description. So people are pulling this up on their YouTube channel, wherever they're at. They should find the description right under there.
can
So they
you
are.
copy and paste it, because now I don't have my that was my little cheat
Yeah.
sheet for the show,
I'm,
and I
I'm,
don't have it on my side.
I'm
I typed
trying
it,
to.
I created it, but now I can't remember it from scratch.
Okay.
So yeah, we are in the process of creating a seamless show, a very tight, professional, a seaworthy ship where we will sail the seven seas of yellow journalism and try to tell you what's worth spending your time paying attention to, while all the shiny things distract you on the other side.
Yeah.
So, Blake, did you find that? Are you able to copy and paste that somewhere in the chat, or the private chat, or the other chat, or the chickadee chat?
Here we
Chickadee chat,
go.
the Chinese chicken, chickadee China.
Oh,
You have a drumstick and your brain stops ticking. Something like that, all right?
yeah,
Oh,
exactly like that. I don't know where you heard that one, but here
and
we
that's
go. How's that?
watching X-Files with the lights on, with no lights
Ooh,
on.
I like that. Ah.
Like Harrison Ford, I'm getting frantic. Like Sting, I'm tantric. Because I'm guaranteed to satisfy. I don't make films, but if I did, they'd have a samurai. Come on, you
Yeah, why
recognize that
wouldn't
song,
you?
right? Who wrote that song?
I have no idea.
Oh, you did. Come on.
What?
Oh, there we go. Cool.
So we got. Oh, hello, Stephanie. Jane, Stephanie, nice to see everybody. Welcome to our new program. We're going to try to do this Tuesday and Thursday, and we will see and bring you some all the exciting news shows. But this is also a listener driven, so feel free to drive the show wherever we want to discuss. And of course, chime in whether you agree or disagree with whatever we're going to be presenting, the angles. And yeah, looking forward to the evolution. Right. Oh, Brian's
Yes,
not
and
distracted. He's writing something.
I know.
That's what I was doing
In this
before.
evolution, I'm being quiet. I need Blake. Let's go to Blake's takes. This is
Yeah.
where we get all the throwaway stories that didn't make the top five. Give me a Blake's take on one of the throwaway stories that you had. Give me a quick Blake's takes while I set up the.
That's not listed on there.
Yeah, like one of the quick Blake's takes. I was reviewing our
All right.
notes from 2019. That's how long we've been developing shows, and I'd written down Blake's takes, so they're like kind of the bite-size throwaway stories. So you set up
That would
in
be
the
good.
beginning, because I'm going to do some captions and graphics. I have an idea I want to try here. So
Ooh, he's got a vision. All right. Well, I don't want to interrupt there. So I'll just one of the stories that I wasn't sure if we were going to cover is the Nick Fuentes, who I'm not, I don't have anything personal against. I'm not a big fan of, but he was kicked off Twitter a while ago, brought back a couple of days ago. And it was like, oh wow, I guess they're letting everybody in. That's cool. I think everybody should have a right to free speech and be on a platform, unless they're totally out of line or calling for violence or something. but he came back, I don't know, a day or two, and then him and his friend Ali Alexander were both removed promptly. We don't have a specific explanation, but yeah, he is a, controversial figure. A lot of the people, as especially the left, do not want him there. Yeah, and they're right. He's kind of a toxic figure for many. But yeah, I think that's also interesting to hear a perspective, even if you're a misguided 24-year-old. I think it's it's fun to interact with people you agree to disagree with, But no, he's gone. So it's kind of curious to see the Twitter policies that we thought they're gonna get rid of. They're gonna bring everybody back, but we're kind of seeing new boss, same as the old boss, as the old Who's song. So I don't know if that's a trend or not, or what the explanation is, or if he's going to come back. But yeah, I think he should, even though I disagree with probably most of his opinion. Not most, but some of his more controversial opinions. I don't think are worth posting. But that gives us all a teachable moment to discuss.
Yes.
All amounts.
It's okay to have awful opinions out there, so we can clearly have conversations about it. The fact of the matter is, I don't know who this guy is. I know that he had dinner with like Milo and Ye with Trump. I think
Yep,
I've heard
that's
his name
true.
more than I've heard anything from him. I couldn't. For $100, I don't think I could point to him out of a police lineup. But I've heard his name a bunch, so he's some sort of a lightning rod. But I don't care. I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know what the story is. I can't even comment on it.
yeah,
Your thought though, Blake, you're just kind of surprised that there's not as much free speech. Like there are people that have pushed the boundaries just to see. It's like you say free speech, but there's never such a thing. Show me the guardrails. Show me the electric fence around this pasture, because there always will be an electric fence, around the pasture. And I get what they're doing. It's what every adolescent does. You have to seek that opportunity to find out. You push your parent. They say one thing, and you go as far as you can before you get scolded for the behavior, as long as you can, just to kind of learn, like, what are they really strict about, and what are they, whatever. And then you go, okay, all right, we defined that's not super important to you. There are trade-offs, and now I have understood my boundaries better.
yeah. That's what I thought. So weird that they would let somebody in and then just kick them right off the platform. It was, Ye was kind of trying to kind of make waves. It's almost like he was like like a child trying to find his boundaries.
Hmm.
And so
Yeah.
Elon was just like, no. And that's fine. Kick him off for a week or whatever. I don't like to see anybody like permanently suspended unless they are just a nutcase and they're calling for violence, or they're doxing people or stuff like that. There is a line to be drawn. I'm not like a free speech absolutist. There's got to be some boundaries. But yeah, in his case, I think he should be allowed about his opinions. I don't like the cancel culture mentality, and he just seems like the left should use that as to have a field day, calling him out and trolling him. That's what I would do if I had a big issue with what he's saying. But they just choose just to remove him. So, and I can even here. Let me do a quick screen share, and I can show you Nick Fuentes. Here it is, banned less than 24 hours after being reinstated. So let's see some of the tweets. He put this out, kind of showing, I guess, certain like high level Republicans and their ties to corporations, and how the news is controlled to an extent. I haven't gone through it too much. He was trending heavily the other day. Censorship. People are upset with Elon, and then you've got Richie Torres, who is I don't know if he's a Democratic congressman. Yeah, he's Democratic out of New York, calling for him to be banned, saying Nick Fuentes was a white supremacist notorious for denying the Holocaust and peddling anti-Semitism. The venom he spews belongs nowhere on Twitter. And here he is, LOL. He's a funny little guy. There he is. Yeah, he's been a very outspoken, interesting.
Frozen. Oh yeah, Blake said it was a cloudy day. He may have a little bit of reception issues. He's using the Elon
Oh,
Musk
right,
Starlink.
or what
There we
have you. Oh, I will be probably cutting out periodically. My internet's still a work
Yes.
in progress, and it is a cloudy day. Hopefully, it's not doing anything. I am using Starlink satellite, which has been a significant upgrade from what I had, but it's still going to cut out once in a while. I apologize, but there you go. So, Nick Fuentes, that ended up being our headline story.
Yeah, we took, and that's Blake's take. That's the Blake take.
Whoops, I got to stop. That is. Oh, and Brian, you posted a couple of things, but you think you put it in our private chat. I don't know if you meant for that.
Yes, I got. So here's what we're gonna do. Let's pretend we're actually starting the show now, and say, let's jump into the stories.
Okay. Well,
nope. Hold on. Wait. No, here's where you're gonna use we got to get a banner. We need some sort of motion graphic there where there's like buttons. You agree or disagree? Yeah.
Okay. That was one of them.
And here we go. Project Veritas potentially revealed a big pharma bombshell. Do you agree or disagree that Project Veritas potentially revealed a big pharma bombshell, Blake?
Oh, it's massive. It's absolutely huge. Google is now censoring it. The liberal networks are totally free. Well, and Fox. I mean, anybody that takes money from Big Pharma, especially Pfizer, they are pretending like the story does not exist. So the one thing we will say that's good about Elon having Twitter is that at least Project Veritas is back, and James O'Keefe is back, and that story blew up on Twitter, and they got millions of views. And it's still going hugely viral. It's the biggest story in the world as far as I'm concerned. So just devastating for the Big Pharma, but it's absolutely one of the best pieces of journalism put out there, even though it was done on, undercover video. But hey, that's the way it has to go. Unfortunately, since the mainstream media or what have you won't be honest because they don't want to upset their sponsors and they need the money, they're not going to cover these sorts of things. So Project Veritas has done a terrific job doing these undercover investigations and finding these people, or they just have people like going out on dates. They get people kind of loosened up. They have a few drinks, and they start speaking candidly on candid camera. And that's what we saw last night with this high-level Pfizer executive who admitted to some really awful things that we've suspected. It's basically gain-of-function research, but even worse. And they've just kind of changed the labels. And it's also showing how big government is also involved, and they don't care about regulating. It's just all about the money.
Do you happen to have an article like with a couple of the specific quotes, or a little video compilation that has a couple of the quick clips? Because obviously this goes on for a long time. It's just a matter of how much they trimmed it down to. What's this say? Pfizer director: mutate COVID via directed evolution to continue profiting from vaccines. I mean,
yeah. So it's not gain of function because that's illegal. And they were not allowed to do that in the States. So they did it in the Wuhan lab, which he also admitted is likely where this virus originated, that it's totally BS, that it was just some spontaneous thing that happened.
Directed evolution.
But now they call it directed evolution. So that's their little loophole.
God, they love changing definitions as if it changes what happened. Yeah. No, it doesn't change anything. It just makes them look super guilty. Like, did you see that Pepsi documentary, Pepsi, Where's My Fighter Jet?
No, I have not.
You have Netflix?
Of course.
All right. So there's a documentary that came out a month or two ago, Pepsi, Where's My Fighter Jet? Something like that. Michael Avenatti. I'm sorry, I just had to tell you. Maybe that's the hook that'll get you to watch it. He's directly intertwined with this story. But one of the components, so Pepsi puts this commercial out, send us this many points, and you get a Harrier jet, like out of True Lies, like the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
Cool.
And so this kid figures out how to do it. He presents, I would like my jet. And now they start going back and forth. It becomes a legal battle. And they change their commercial to now add a disclaimer that was not there previously. So they released it without a disclaimer. When they went ahead and added the disclaimer, to me, it was a clear sign that they screwed up, and they were adding that and changing that to try to weasel out of something. Same case here. Every time a definition is changed, this is the new definition of the word. Well, first it was Bill Clinton. Remember, it depends upon what your definition of the word is.
All right.
And then you had the definition of the word woman, and then definition of the word vaccine, and definition of what was gain of function. What they did, evolution. What do they call it? Evolved.
Directed evolution.
Directed bullshit. Yeah. The fact that they're now trying to change the terminology, it's a clear indication of a cover-up. And they always say it's not the crime that's going to get you, it's the cover-up that always does. And so, all of these terms being changed, I don't know. I don't know what conservative, libertarian, liberal really mean at the end of the day. But I guess I am conservative in the fact that it's like, once things already have a name and already are a thing, let's just come up with new names for the other things. And I don't like things being renamed and erased right in front of me. And whether it's your favorite sports team or a statue of somebody you never met and never knew and never impacted your life, but it's out there already. Just changing definitions, I'm not a big fan of. Just make another definition for me. But anyway, so the gist of this story.
George Carlin had a whole bit on that. Yeah, back in the day.
Oh God, that was a great bit. You should copy and paste that YouTube link in the show notes. Do we have show notes? Is that a thing? I'm just
not eventually. We're working in progress. This is episode 2, but we will be a fine-tuned machine by the end of this year.
Jane is saying
hopefully
that's
sooner.
This is what pharma does. It's not a surprise. Question is, will this wake up the sleepers? Yeah. So
if they hear it, yeah, it's the issue is they're watching TikTok videos, or if they do turn into the mainstream media, they'll never air it. So that is the problem, is just trying to reach people. And then, there's just so much censorship, YouTube or TikTok, they're not going to air that. And
so is there a video you could play? Is there a video you could play that's just him in his own words, or is it chopped up, or are there like a couple of great 10-second bites that are like, holy crap?
I don't think so, but let's I can try to roll it for a minute and just see, because I haven't run through this. I just mostly have the quotes here. How long is this particular video? So yeah, it's the whole 10-minute.
Oh, they don't have it chopped up into clips? Then I guess what are some of the quotes that we could read off of the page then? I'm not going to watch would you say 20 minutes? Or?
Yeah. So Walker says that directed evolution
who is Walker,
different.
Though? Set us up again. Who is Walker?
Jordan Walker, Jordan Tristan Walker. He's an executive at Pfizer. Let's all start at the top here.
Because once again,
director,
is he an executive, or is he a low-level peon?
Oh no, he's a high-level director of research and development and strategic operations and the mRNA scientific planner. So he's a big deal there.
Okay then.
So yeah, so he's out on this little mandate, and he spilled the beans. One of the things from his quote, one of the things we're exploring is like, why don't we just mutate the COVID ourselves so we could create or preemptively develop new vaccines, right? So we have to do that. If you're going to do that, though, there's a risk of, like, as you can imagine, no one wants to having a pharma company mutating effing viruses. So that's pretty damning right there. That's where they're talking about the gain of function. How do we do that? So they're just going to mutate these things. That way they have all these vaccines ready to go. Whether we've seen the Omicron or the Delta or what other kind of different variants that they've been putting out there go through the Greek alphabet. But if they can just pass, so I'll go to the next quote. It says, don't tell anybody, because he didn't know he was on a hidden camera. Promise you won't tell anyone. The way it would work is that you put the virus in monkeys, and then cause them to keep infecting each other and then collect serial samples from them. So now you're getting into the ethics of dangerous animal testing. So they're going to use monkeys. I don't know if it's in the States or if it's in China or somewhere else where they're not gonna where they have different laws that they can get around. And these poor monkeys are just going to be passing these viruses back and forth. And then if they come up with some variation, some mutation, then Pfizer will be right there with the vaccine in hand. It's kind of like the flu virus. I don't know, have like hundreds of strains, and they never really know what's going to come out. So they just kind of take their best guess year to year. But now they have designer vaccines for these basically designer viruses that they are creating, and it's gain of function. It's on animals, and they're trying to cover that up, and it's pretty disgusting. So, and he said, "Oh yeah, here's the Wuhan parts."
Yeah.
It makes no sense that this virus popped out of nowhere. It's bullshit. So he says,
Blake with a weak signal right now. Oh, there he goes. He popped out. Okay.
"Yeah, sorry, that's my internet. It's cloudy day with my Starlink, so I do apologize, but I think I got through most of it."
Well, and
Yeah.
let's just say this, Blake. We
Yeah.
know that is the game in viruses with vaccines is it is the guessing game. You're playing whack-a-mole. You're looking for variants. You're trying to have you're trying to anticipate what's coming around the corner. You don't know which car is coming around the corner, but you can hear it. And so like the entire industry is a guessing game. It, so I guess let me back up a second and ask, do you think that there's really a smoking gun here because we know that what he said it has been going on? Or is it that they've been lying to us about Wuhan because they know it's a story that makes them look bad because it escaped? Or because it's been weaponized? Or probably both? Blake is frozen. And he's out. But that is the question. If they can't control this, or if it is being used as a weapon, why is it being permitted? And I guess that's kind of at the core of what the entire industry is. So I don't know. I want full investigations. Wanda, what's up? You said truly evil people wanting to harm, kill, and destroy. Blake is back here. Blake, I was asking out of what was revealed in the Project Veritas video. We know that this is the game of the vaccine makers. That you have to anticipate what car is coming around the corner before you can see it. Is anything that this guy said unknown to the public, or it's because Fauci keeps lying, saying, "Oh no, we're not doing gain of function. No, 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 we don't do a thing that's called gain of function." Is it because he keeps lying about it? Is that the is there anything that we're surprised to learn in this Project Veritas video? I feel like it's a lot of what I've already known, but is it just that we've never heard it before, like spewed out? So
Yeah, this is kind of like the Twitter files. Like we knew that they were, censoring people. We knew that they were doing dirty things. We just couldn't prove it. And we know Fauci has been dancing around that issue. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want it to be known that he's, kind of responsible for this gain of function stuff at the Wuhan lab. I mean, that could be, present a lot of problems for them and for people to have faith in this the medical industry and to take their vaccines in this pandemic seriously. So yeah, it's not a surprise to me, you or me. I am kind of surprised that they're using monkeys in their testing. So there's something pretty sinister here that's going on, and they were very open about how like evil it is and how the public shouldn't know about it. So it's a major cover up. I think this is absolutely worse than I would have suspected. I think it's just bad enough that they're making these experimental vaccines, and that's their business model, and we don't know, it hasn't been properly tested. So now they're trying to get ahead of it, but they're a company. They're there to make profits. So they're looking at a very lucrative future of vaccine makers, and they want to have COVID just like the flu vaccine every year for whatever strain is affecting people, whatever escapes out of their monkey lab.
So there is, yeah, okay. Ukrainian monkey lab, Wuhan monkey lab. Where does this guy work? Was he talking about a specific facility?
I'm not actually sure which
Okay.
Pfizer facility it is or where their headquarters at. I'm not really sure about that.
Okay. Yeah. If they're creating the things and the things are getting out to harm us, which seems to be the case, we got a big problem.
Yeah, it's problem, reaction, solution. They're creating it, and then they're profiting from it.
Now they have a protective, like a liability protection. They have a bit of a invisibility cloak, if you will, right? But that doesn't count if they're misrepresenting their work, right? Isn't there a loophole where if they have lied about what they've presented to get emergency use authorization, et cetera, that you kind of nullify any protections you thought you had, because it's almost like fruits from the poison tree. The opposite in the legal world is like if you detain a guy and don't read him his Miranda rights, and in the process of this situation he admits to something or gives information like, it's Jimmy, he's over at 123 Main Street, and you go get Jimmy, and then because of Jimmy you raid his house and you find stolen this or that. Well, if he didn't have his Miranda rights, that's fruit from the poison tree, then you couldn't have had the search. So now you have to throw out the evidence found in that search because it was poisoned when you didn't follow protocol. So the opposite of this would be, well, yeah, you thought you had some protections, but if you only got the protections by lying about it, it's almost like the FISA courts as well. Like if you're only getting the FISA warrant because you're lying about this Russian collusion bullshit that nobody believes, that's completely treasonous to overthrow a sitting president, wouldn't it then open up the liability? Then that's one of the questions I'm having a lot of thought on, and I've heard a few conversations about it, and you always wonder who's the internet, the best internet attorney who can break it all down. But if what's happening is a result of fabrications and lies to get to that point, it kind of seems like no protections there. You waived your right to get that protection because you misrepresented the information to get to that point. I wonder if any of that's going to be coming out in the next year, because it wasn't just that they made it wasn't just that they put it for sale and they paid to advertise some links on your page and maybe you'll buy their product. This was like something they said, you will insert this into your orifice or you can no longer exist on Earth. And it's like, who in the actual who? I'm sorry.
Say it. I don't care.
Oh. I know. I'm just I wasn't saying I'm sorry. I was just like, that we've reached a very strange point, Blake. A very strange point, and it's almost like we have to hit this thing head on. We just have to, because they're going to do it again.
Oh, of course, yeah, but they've protected themselves. They're insulated. It's all incestuous with the big pharma and the government, the FDA regulators. They all they exchange jobs. They go back and forth. So this guy said, they don't want the It's good for them, and it's not good for America. So this is basically kind of like fascism. This is like corporations merging with the government, and they are protecting themselves. Yeah, it was emergency use authorization only, but they managed to make it like a mandatory thing, and people were forced, take the jab or there's no job. So, and I mean, the military, I mean, they weakened our military. You got all these pilots. That could be a huge problem. And then we just didn't know. We didn't have proper testing, and then we did have some testing. And the people like Robert Malone, who like basically created this idea, and they just okay, they just silence him, kick him off of YouTube and Twitter. He's back now, but yeah, that was a pretty big mess. We've been trying to warn about this stuff for a long time too. I've had so many, strikes or YouTube channels or YouTube videos taken down. Yeah, it's a major medical catastrophe, and there's a serious corruption problem. And I don't know who's going to stop it, but I hope once enough people find out about this stuff in time, there is going to be repercussions and there are going to be changes, but it's going to take a while. One thing I did see that I haven't actually looked at yet. Let me try a quick screen share. I know James O'Keefe and Project Veritas did put this out from the Gateway Pundit to say that Ron Johnson is calling for Congress to investigate the vaccine manufacturers and COVID vax approval process. In response, already, this just broke about less than 2 hours ago. So we'll see. So Ron, he's been doing some pretty good work for the most part.
Good. So. And you know what? There are so many angles that are infuriating to me on this. Not the least of which is the fact that in order to sell this and force people to purchase it and insert it into their orifice, into their body, I mean, it's the most Harvey Weinstein-y thing. It's like, I'm going to force this thing inside of you and you're going to accept it. Like, that's me too, right? Like, you're not going to, no means no. So walk away. And it's like, no, for 3 years, it's been a lot of that. Not the least of which is in order to push this product, they lied about the other helpful, oh God, I called it nutraceutical, therapeutic. I thought of it earlier today. I'm like, the word was therapeutic. Remember, I couldn't say the word right. I was like searching for it. Nutraceutical? No, that's not it. Pure botanicals? No, that's not it. Therapeutic.
So close.
But yeah, there were therapeutic options like hydroxychloroquine, like ivermectin.
Well, they took all that stuff away from us. Yeah.
And the smear campaign to call these Nobel Award winning drugs horse paste and to minimize, marginalize, and the way they attacked President Trump because he said that what he took and how he's feeling great. There are so many people who have died and will never be back with their families again because had they
from drinking bleach, injecting bleach.
Oh yeah, lying about that, lied about every damn thing. But had the information been known about all these therapeutics, the monoclonal antibodies and the ivermectin and the hydroxychloroquine, I mean, the potential lives that could have been retained is sickening and astronomical.
It went over beyond. It smeared Rogan for the horse paste, but they also changed the color to make him look like he was sick. They actually changed. Yeah.
I mean,
even kind of like a greenish hue to why would you listen to Rogan? He eats horse paste and he looks terrible. It's amazing how far they went to manipulate that.
And so,
and then he had that Dr. Gupta on his show, and then he kind of called him out, made him look bad. But it was their own fault. But he had to call out CNN. But it was amazing how they went after him.
But I think Gupta then made sense on the show, and then he went right back on a show that night and talked his same shit again, back to lying. And it was
back in his comfort zone with all of his hacks, flacks, and lackeys at CNN.
Yeah. Let's see. Ghost Picker here. He's saying he loves the analogy of the relationship between government and tech is incestuous. Also, by the way, as we start wrapping this up, this particular story, they were also saying, Ghost Picker said, excited to see Blake do his own thing. Definitely a genuinely nice dude. So look, I just want to read that comment and let you know that some of your peeps are happy to see you doing doing a different project, doing a unique, a new and unique version of something that will have a different vibe to it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the feedback, everybody. Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing some more. It's been kind of a struggle the last couple of years, relocating. I'm in a decent spot, but the internet has been problematic, and so now I got the Starlink. It's my internet's probably 5 to 10 times faster than it was, which is an enormous upgrade. Still a work in progress, but it's happy that I can start doing some live streaming and doing more work, and I'm looking forward to doing that. So for some of you that don't know, Brian and I have been working together since like 2012, over 10 years. And we were doing Agree to Disagree programs. And that was kind of more of a audio only kind of a podcast show. But now here we are. Technology's changed. And yeah, we're looking forward to putting out a lot more content and to build another a show doing things our own way, but again, this is also listener driven, so feel free to whatever stories you want to see people covered. We'll do our best to accommodate and present the different perspectives in the agree to disagree format. Okay,
all right, well,
we'll try to get
the other side of that. I fully support sending U.S. tanks to Ukraine. Blake, do you agree or disagree that you fully support? I fully support sending U.S. tanks to Ukraine. Agree or disagree?
Disagree. I think this is.
What are you, a bigot? What are you? Okay, I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me bring it back to.
I gotta show you a tweet just real quick on that one. Just oh, there you go. I got the overlay with Ukraine.
You like that?
Perfect. Good call. Yeah, there's a background one too, I think. Or wait, let's see. Oh, I can't see that one. We got,
no, I did it. Oh, got that too?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
That's under the background. Let's see. Quick share screen, which I thought was interesting. Andrew Yang, who, seems like a nice enough guy, but God, he's got awful takes. And I'm glad he didn't get very far as getting into office or anything like that. He seems so naive. He says, I'm glad the U.S. is sending modern Abrams tanks to the Ukraine defense, sets the right example, and will save lives. I don't know how you can come to that conclusion, but I guess in his world, around his people, that does seem to make sense, or at least just cozying up to his corporate handlers or the Forward Party or whatever grift is popular. Or, of course, he's just always with the current thing and whatever most of the progressives are doing. So, oh, is that banner? Did you make that, or was that already built in?
What's that?
With the restream.
Which one?
Oh, no, that's yours. Yeah, because it's with the tanks.
Yeah. Did you notice the last one? The last one had it down there the whole time.
Oh, no, I probably
you didn't even notice.
Well, good job. No, I'm happy that we're learning this. So Brian's pretty much going to be the captain of the ship, sort of the host here because of my internet limitations. So this is great, and Brian's more natural host. But we're looking forward to putting out new shows and seeing how this evolves. So looking forward. But good times. Good job, Brian. Well done. I like the banners.
Awesome. And, yeah. So these tanks. These are. So what is the story here? Do you have one pulled up for this? These are German tanks funded by the U.S. or these are U.S. tanks bought by Germany? Then Germany's sending, like Germany's invading now, or like where are we exactly with this? Because now I'm also hearing reports that I cannot confirm, but I'm hearing people say that Putin is negotiating to purchase the Afghanistan supplies that were left behind when Biden had that horrible evacuation and people were killed, and we left all of that infrastructure and military surplus just laying next to the border of this nuclear power that we're going after. I don't know if you've been hearing that story too. I don't know how true it is, but I'm hearing it. I'd like to debunk it or confirm it.
I don't know. I haven't heard about that. That we'll see. I don't know exactly what kind of equipment or how solid that was, but I'm sure a lot of it was modern and very useful, and it wasn't good to have it in the hands of whoever was left in Afghanistan. That wasn't. It was just a terrible exit. and bad news. And this is also bad news, in my opinion, if they're going to be sending more weaponry over there. And the other issue, as it has been pointed out by people, is that these tanks, you can't just like send them a bunch of like Abrams tanks and a bunch of modern, United States or NATO equipment. Just send it over to Ukraine, because it takes months at least, and it takes like a team of, I don't know, 3 to 5 soldiers to be able to drive this vehicle, to operate all the different equipment. It takes a lot of training. You can't just hand it over. It's not just like a rental car. You picked up a Toyota at the airport and you know how to drive it already. I mean, these are complicated machines. That's why they train all these soldiers for so long. So they're saying they might be operated by NATO soldiers or what have you. But it's also like, how effective can they really be in this modern warfare against a formidable opponent like Russia and Putin? So seems like a bad idea. It's only going to escalate things. You're also risking that, the NATO, the United States, just further chaos. And I don't see how that's like, sending 30 tanks or something is going to turn the tide of the war. There's a lot more to it. Thank you, Dr. Jekyll. High praise. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, this is just it's a very disturbing, alarming situation. I don't recall the actual vote for the United States to go to war against the nuclear powered Russian Empire. I feel like that's something that should have been discussed. I don't like this war by proxy crap. It's like you pay your neighbor 2 doors down $20 so that he can hit your enemy up against the back of their skull with a skateboard at school. What did Eminem say? I have the money to have some. Oh God, how does it? I have the money to have you killed by somebody who's got nothing. I have the money to have you killed by somebody who's got nothing. I'm past bluffing. We are at war with Russia. We're just handing the weapons to Ukraine and saying, punch him in the face, punch him in the face, punch him in the face. Go ahead. Like, that's us doing this. Where did we vote for this? Who approved Biden to do any of this stuff? Like, where's the congressional approval?
It's Congress. They're doing it. Yeah. No, I mean, Congress is the one drawing this up. They're giving them a blank check to do whatever you want. Unlimited funds. They need this. They can't let Ukraine go. So they can't let Russia grab this power, and it might have something to do with, with BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. It's a threat towards U.S., the Federal Reserve and our world currency. There's a lot at play, plus the biolabs, the corruption, the funneling money through Ukraine, and they've been kind of poking the bear for a long time.
And don't forget every single attempt to commit treason and overthrow the sitting president of the United States, Donald J. Trump. What was it? Everything was a Russian. They said the very legitimate Biden crime family documents on that laptop, all the connections with Burisma and firing the investigator, the quid pro quo Joe. All of those things were said. Nope. The Russians did that. It's just like misinformation from the Russians. They're totally the Russians. You're like, okay. We need to impeach President Trump because of the Russians. Hey, we need to impeach the president again because of Russians or so. It's like the deep state has been fixated on fighting an undeclared war with Russia for far too long. If we got a problem with them, make your case. Let's hear it. Put it in front of Congress. Like, what? I don't like being lied to. There's no truth in what's happening here. You don't need to like Putin or like Russia to say there's a protocol and you're not following it. Like, that's what I have the biggest problem with here.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And it's just billions of dollars, and they're burying it in these different bills. A lot of people don't even have time to read it, and they're just acting like this is perfectly normal. Well, we have so many problems here at home. Why are they putting so many funds that we don't even know where it goes? It's not audited. They just send over billions of dollars. Now they've got this big corruption scandal with a lot of high level people. So they're the ones benefiting from the money. I don't know if it's actually going to help the people in need or not, or if it's just more money laundering. This is a very corrupt regime in Ukraine, but they hold a lot of our secrets. And so there's a lot more going on that they probably don't want the everyday people to know. What are they doing meddling around in Ukraine? This is a power thing between us and Russia. But this is the corrupt American empire that we weren't supposed to be doing stuff like this. Yeah, self-defense, unlimited money. Let's do everything. But why are we? And we don't want to send our own troops in there. Obviously, that's not going to be popular. So they just found this way to run these proxy wars, and they can just give money and weapons to NATO and Ukraine, and let them fight on our behalf, I guess. And hopefully things don't escalate any further.
Yeah, I'm creeped out by all this, man. You mix in the cyber attack that World Economic Federation, what is it? Forum? For some reason, I'm confusing it with the World Wildlife Fund. So I just always want to say World Wildlife Fund, World Economic Fund, and I go, wait, it's not fund, is it? Anyway,
they're funding a lot of politicians worldwide. That's for sure.
That there's gonna be a cyber attack, and I've had my ear to some stories about. There's some banking issues. I've been seeing and hearing rumblings of money not changing hands the way that it always has. People are trying to get money and they're not able to get it. There's restrictions on money going out. Shipments are not happening for larger companies. I'm hearing lots of these little stories, and I'm just trying to put puzzle pieces together. And you got the World Economic Fund. God, I said it again. Forum. Wow. I told you, just every time I want to say fund, and then just it's like fool me once, fool me can't get fooled again. So when you say it wrong, then it's like you can't ever remember to learn it the right way. Once it's locked in that repetition in your head, it's like the dominoes are lined up wrong. It clicks, it clanks, it goes sideways, and nothing happens. All right, I give up. But yeah, have you heard any stories about we've seen a lot of layoffs at a lot of companies, including Google, and turns out Nancy Pelosi is involved in this story. I'm so shocked. But have you been hearing any stories about any economic situations with banking, with money, with the grid, with the internet, with anything? Have you heard any stories like that recently, Blake?
Well, yeah, there's always some kind of weird stuff going on. I know there was an issue with Bank of America, and of course, like the big one, of course, is the FTX and Silvergate and all of these crypto companies, and that is a lingering out there as well. But yeah, there's just a general. We're in an economic downturn. They've another one of the things they've changed the definition of is a recession, major inflation. So we have a lot of problems. So part of me thinks that maybe the reason that there's been problems with Brazil and that we're escalating tensions with Russia is because they present a threat with the BRICS against that coalition, which will be a very
Brazil, Russia, India, China,
and South Africa working together for their own kind of currency, asset-backed currency. Whereas we're just printing money out of thin air.
What is the latest in Brazil? I've seen a lot of protests, a lot of accusations, a lot of similarities to the 2020 election in America. Very big similarities. What is the latest there? Where do things stand?
It seems like there's almost kind of a lockdown. Like they're going to be changing things. So they didn't want the populist in charge. They didn't want the happy people. So now they got to shut things down. And so they put in their own puppet. There could be, I don't. The one thing that will trigger YouTube is mentioning anything about integrity of the process of voting. So I won't touch that, but it does. Some people are skeptical of the results. You saw mass protests. People are taking to the streets, not buying the way that things happened. They liked their man Bolsonaro, who was kind of the Trump of Brazil, and now things are going to be changing dramatically, and they're going to be they're not going to have the same kind of freedom that they used to. So it's pretty scary down there, and it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. I don't know if there's much hope for overturning, but there's still a fight going on as far as I know. But that could drag out for a while, and there's just so much corruption there on top of it. And the United States has been, for decades, has been meddling around in South America and getting, their particular people in positions of power and getting rid of the ones they don't like. So seeing more of the same.
Have we heard an update in Arizona? Where are we at there? I know there's battles in the courts. Do we what is the latest there? Like, where is that at? Is it a standstill? It's working its way up to the Supreme Court. Where are we?
I think Carrie Lake, they brought, and the team, they brought a lot of information saying there's some pretty damning numbers that seems like there was manipulated down there. And so they presented their case, I think, twice to the Supreme Court, but as far as I know, they've rejected it again. So I don't know if they're going to appeal it again. They got to keep fighting. If they believe that there's shenanigans there, then they need to keep fighting that. But the courts don't want to hear it. They don't want to get involved, and there's too much at stake. So bad guys are running things, and you got people like George Soros. You got billionaires.
Yes.
Oops, am I cutting out again?
Yeah.
Okay, so big money in behind Hobbs and the sheriff down there and whoever else, prosecutors. So they are trying to control, who gets in and who not, or maybe not. Maybe it was all fair. I don't know until they dig around. I don't want to touch that issue too much because I've already taken too many strikes and too much punishment already from YouTube for daring to even bring up those very questions. So we'll just assume it was all fair and fun, and that Carrie Lake is a sore loser, and they're just wasting our time. Or not, but we don't know yet. So keep up the fight if they think there's something to go after there. But yeah, we've got some problems. We would like to see a more transparent process either way.
Yeah, I want paper ballot.
But Brian, I've got about, what do we have? I got about 10 minutes, and I've got to run.
I want paper ballots.
On this,
that's all I'm going to add there.
Particular broadcast. There you go.
I mean, put them in a box. Say, every 1,000 ballots gets a box, and you label it 1, 2, 3, 4, and you put it in the thing and whatever. And if there's ever a chance to recount, you have 1,000 ballots per box. You just do the recount. Just figure it out. Not rocket science. Have a member of each party or an independent or some sort of combination. You go through and you do some audits. You do some random audits, some forced audits in the most important places, the biggest cities where there's the potential for the most. Without paper ballots, how are we going to ever know? It's almost like taking a test for something that's colorless, odorless, side effectless, but now you have this thing and now you're not allowed to do things because there's some invisible thing that says you can't. It's like, well, what if everything says I can't? I don't know what's on those things. Don't tell me. I don't rely on that. No, I don't trust that. No, you got to earn, especially if there's punitive consequences. And what's more punitive of a consequence than being ruled by inferior men? So if things are being subverted, am I using that word right? Did I create a word?
Yeah.
Subversion. I mean, wherever there's a potential, there's a need for transparency, accountability, and double checking. That's it. Like, it's that crystal clear. There need to be cameras on every damn thing. And the signature verification needs to be robust as okay. So yeah.
Voter IDs, the common sense things, but they don't like that stuff.
Well, then too bad.
Right.
Like, that's ridiculous. Right. Like, I don't like their hand in my cookie jar either. So get your hand out of my cookie jar. Pretty straightforward. All right, Blake, let's pivot to the next show topic. And I guess this will probably be the final one. Give us a cue up the thing.
Yeah, we did touch on. Well, we'll bring this one up again. Okay, with the World Economic Forum having our best interests at heart, so we did mention that. So let me touch on a couple of these. Got the speaking of the World Economic Forum, they want us to eat bugs and be happy. The EU authorities are now approving crickets and mealworms in food. So that's according to a report from the Olive Oil Times. It approved on January 6th the use of house crickets in a powdered form as an ingredient for several food items. So it could be like pizzas, pastas, nuts and oil seeds, snack sauces, meat preparations. Yeah, crackers, breadsticks, all kinds of biscuits and processed potato products. Is that like cricket Pringles? So I don't know. We've got that. Here's another one on the kind of following up on that one. You've got Tractor Supply chicken feed reportedly causing egg laying to stop. The board has ties to the World Economic Forum and Jeffrey Epstein even. So
I've been having a conversation. I just talked with my neighbor, and she said, I don't know if she gets her feed from there. I need to ask her. But she said there's a Tractor Supply. Go if you want to pick.
Yep.
She didn't say so, but she did say she just killed 3 of her hens because they all stopped laying.
Ooh, could absolutely due to the feed. Well, I think normally in the winter they don't produce as many, and it's good to have and eat bugs. They're the ones that are supposed to eat bugs, and then we eat the eggs, and then later the chickens when they stop laying eggs. But there's something sinister going on. The cost of eggs, of course, is exploding, and whether there's avian flu or what have you. But now that there's an attack here with the feed potentially not causing the chickens to produce as many eggs as there were. They want to get us on the crickets, getting us used to the bugs. They don't want us with the meats and all of that stuff. And of course, they're also trying to a lot of different things, but one of them is going about hackable humans, decoding faces in your mind, your PIN number to your bank account. They want to be able. I'm going to try to play this quick video here. Tell me if you can hear this, Brian.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know if I'm going to be able to play it. I'm going to have to post it on Twitter until I figure out the logistics of how to run these clips again. So not a big deal.
Where do they follow
put
you
that
on
Twitter? Yeah, Twitter TV's Blake Wally, because this article they're not allowed back on Twitter yet as natural news, but this tweet is available on Twitter from Tim Hinchcliffe. People need to see the dystopian future that they're trying to do is where they can just kind of read your thoughts. So if you're working at the office, they can tell whether you're working or if you're daydreaming or you're colluding or you're happy, or you're sad. It's really awful, nightmarish. They should make a movie about that. They probably will at some point. But as the plans, if the World Economic Forum has their way with their agenda for the human race going forward, this is the kind of dystopian, creepy shit that they're going to be doing. So forcing us to eat bugs, not being able to own anything, and we're going to be happy, and then reading our brain waves, social media credit scores, I'm sure.
So we are their chickens.
Yeah, pretty much. We're livestock to be managed. Absolutely. That's the way they would see us, is that they're above us and we are the sheep that are, meant to be herded and controlled, categorized. And then they want to, determine how much power we use or our carbon output, all kinds of things. It's grotesque micromanagement from elitist psychopaths.
Well, let's do this, Blake. Give me the motion graphics again, and then I'm going to click this thing, and it's going to give a banner. And then
Sorry, too soon.
Adam Schiff and Eric Swalwell deserve to remain in House intelligence positions. Blake, do you agree or disagree that Schiff and Swalwell deserve to remain in House intelligence positions?
Absolutely not. They had very good reasons to remove both of those guys for what they were doing. So I have no sympathy. I know they're obviously embarrassed. Schiff liked his big power trip. He liked leaking things to the press. He liked having, because it's access that very few people do to some of our country's most sensitive secrets and what have you. And to have somebody that highly politicized in that group was dangerous. So, and he was been proven wrong with all his Russia collusion stuff. He's been caught lying many times. So, yeah, it's embarrassing, but he did it to himself. So he's got nobody else to blame. He can still take part in other committees, but he's off the House Intelligence. Swalwell, obviously, since he was having an affair with a Chinese spy, you can't be on the high level House Intelligence Committee if you're, who knows what you're talking about. Who knows what your pillow talk is with this CCCP spy. CCP spy, yeah. So, yeah, they're both gone for good reason, but they can do other stuff. There's a great Babylon Bee article saying that they're in charge of the party committee or something like that. I'll have to pull that up. It's on my Twitter. Again, TV's Blank Wally. I'll grab that.
Dr. Jekyll in the chats here is saying, better fry those birds, waste not, want not. Yes, I do believe all the birds they're cooked. And then Wanda's saying the human body cannot tolerate the parasites that are in those insects that they want us to consume. USDA study found that information. I don't know about that. I've never eaten bugs before. I'm in no particular hurry to start, so that's good enough for me. But yeah, I'll look into that as well. And we need to kind of, let's get a couple chickens in your backyard. Let's start there. Like you could have all your eggs each day. And we posted in one of our TNAM Grow Something or TNAM Preparedness groups on Facebook. TNAM is for the New American Media, of course. And it was like a 1918 poster for it's your patriotic duty to raise poultry in your backyard, to fight the war effort. That was like World War I or something like that. And so
Victory Gardens, yeah, right.
Yeah, and I mean, it's let's all do that now while we can. If they're going to shut the grid down, if they're going to have a communications blackout, if they're going to have a cyber attack, if go down the list for whatever happened. Truckers do their thing in Canada. There's some sort of global supply chain. Like we've experienced a bit of everything, and with us messing around in Russia so much, like at what point will there be retaliation? At what point, like, are we going to get targeted? Like the actions of our idiot neighbors are putting us at risk. We could become potential blowback. I don't like that. How long can you keep messing with another country before they mess with this country? So yeah, there's repercussions to starting battles. If you watch any gangster movie or hip hop gang documentary about the streets, there's retribution for certain things. So Ron called it blowback. So yeah,
wise man.
Yeah. So Schiff. Anyway, back to Schiff and Swalwell. Just it's absurd that these people were ever there in the first place, and we all know it. So yeah, long overdue. But how many more people do we have the same exact information on that we could remove from those positions as well? It's just it's hard to imagine people there that aren't corrupted, they're not bribed, they're not blackmailed, they're not coerced, they're not threatened. It's just hard to imagine getting out of it if we continue to let people like how many blatant lies did Schiff tell? In Swalwell,
a long time. Yeah.
Like, come on. So kudos to the young Republican Congress for doing something right. I'll give them credit there for sure.
Yeah, it's been very refreshing. But I do have to wrap things up real quick. I do want to probably say a couple of things here. Yeah, so we got Dr. Jekyll here that used to be the Bill's Mafia Hitman. It's great to have your longtime support, longtime listener. Changed the name because don't want to be embarrassed because people were going to give you a hard time for being a Bills fan. But hey, you're company. I'm a Vikings fan, Browns fan for Brian, so we do know all about that. So if I had a Vikings name, I probably would do the same thing, change my name at least until this blows over. But shame. So Bill's Mafia Hitman was saying that I was asking about the Damar Hamlin thing, and they think that it's not actually him. So that's pretty big news. That's coming from somebody who is a fan of Buffalo, saying we don't know if that's really Damar Hamlin. We still haven't seen his face. That is a big story. Also, Wanda, hello, good to see you. Talking about the human body's not designed to process these bugs. I know there's some, I forget what some kind of compound that we're not really able to digest, but that they don't care. World Economic Forum doesn't care. Or they're basically just trying to weaken us off, cull the herd. They're not going to be eating the bugs, so they have nothing to worry about. And they're not worried about the consequences, much like the COVID vaccines. They just want you to take them. And hey, if something happens, oh well, there was too many people to begin with. So it's weird times that we live in, but it was been great to see everybody, and Stephanie and Jane and everybody that were here on this this second broadcast of Agree to Disagree. Great job, Brian. It's been a pleasure, and we're looking forward. We're not 100% on the schedule. I'd like to kind of stick around late afternoon, Tuesday, Thursday, and we'll see how it goes. But it's only going to get better from here, and I appreciate everyone and their support.
Ditto.
Brian?
Yeah. It just feels good. There have been various times where Blake has kind of dragged me back into he's like, come on, let's play kickball. I'm like, I mean, every time I start playing kickball, I know I'm supposed to be playing kickball. I'm good at this game. I know. I like it. But then sometimes it's like, I don't want to play kickball. And so Blake has invited me to come play many games of kickball over the years. Brought me back onto the field rather, but or the gymnasium. That was usually in a gymnasium, and I was pretty good at kicking it up into the raft. But I think if you hit the ceiling, you were out. So I could pop it up pretty good. But I had room for improvement. But yeah, like it just feels good to be back in the studio. Got the double lights up here. Got the headset on, getting back to it, running the screen, running the studio here, and sending messages back and forth. I enjoy this because once a day, and I guess how Blake and I are currently doing it is twice a week, but I could do this once a day in theory, but like just to figure out what's going on in the news. I don't claim to be an expert on the news. I claim to have questions about the things I'm hearing about the news. That's more where I'm at. I hear what's being said. I don't know. I try to sift through like what's kind of accurate and what's kind of bullshit. So, it's always a good opportunity for me to do that. So yeah, I appreciate getting back in, reading comments, talking with Blake, and going over the interesting stuff that's going on in the day in the news. So, yeah, thank you, Blake. Appreciate you. Until next
Thank
time,
you, Brian.
we'll pencil in.
Yeah.
We'll pencil in next Tuesday. Yeah.
Definitely, and thanks to the ghost. I can't see the comments though from that. I'm not sure. Still trying to figure out this restream, but I don't. Some of the comments don't show up on my end. I don't know if it's on for the Facebook or Rumble or what have you. But yeah, I'm glad everybody could make it. Hope you enjoyed the show, and we're looking forward to getting greater from here. So thank you all. Thanks, Brian, and we'll see you guys next time.
Deuces.